I was sitting on the balcony with my hands clasped behind my head. I looked out beyond the horizon, far across the Atlantic, to the point where it appears that the ocean touches the sky. I saw the masthead light of a sea vessel, and I stared into my consciousness to see if I could come up with a reason why there was such a drastic shift in attitudes of the West Indies players from Saturday to yesterday. I seek to get some information, and from the information that I received, I remember in 2000 when I was coach of the Magati High School cricket team. It was long ago, so I do not remember all the details of the incident. But the boys would have pissed me off that evening, and I asked them to run from Magati to Appleton Estate. After about 15 minutes, I realized that they were still on campus. So I walked over to them, and then I realized that there was mutiny led by the captain. I immediately suspended him from the team. And up to this day, 23 years on, Damien Foster is still angry with me for that incident. But it was a battle that I could not lose. And the information that I have received remind me of the press conference that Edmire did when he spoke about Caribbean people have a relaxed mindset. The coaches are trying to change it, but he said it is embedded. He doesn't believe in change. Let's hear that 38-second clip from
I
Edmire.
think it's a lot of factors to be considered really. I think it's the mindset that we have, the mindset basically. It's a blessing and of course that we're pretty relaxed as well whenever we're playing. I think that's something that we try that times times coaches, people, some friends and stuff they try to move that out from us, but I think that's something that is embedded in us as Caribbean people and Caribbean guys, just for us to try to move away from, well, not move away really, but try to probably just zone in a little bit more so that we would probably put in more and more.
Mr. Davis, who's my special guest today, will give his reaction to those views from Edmire. However, I want to read a comment made by Vern Jacobs. Vern Jacobs is a member of this community for almost 7 months now, and a day or two ago, he posted a comment after hearing this interview by Hetmeyer. And I'm going to read it. And he said, the Cricket Forum, did you hear the blasphemous comments from Hetmeyer? And he asked a question. He just got back on the team and is complaining about how Caribbean people are easygoing and the coaches are trying to get them out of their posture. I think they are trying to win, so he's referring to the coaches. They don't want to go into a knife fight against other teams with plastic spoons. Hetmeyer, and he's very specific here, he said Hetmeyer is a part of the problem and should not have been selected. Why is he being rewarded and for what? Remember the comments that Brathwaite made? And for those of you who do not remember, Brathwaite said that whatsoever coach that the West Indies is getting, this is after the resignation of Phil Simon, Brathwaite had said the coach must understand the culture of the West Indies. And there in that interview, Hetmeyer speak glaringly and clearly about the culture. He continues saying, this is the environment that young players are being thrust into. We are senior players who should be setting a good example or instead acting as corrupt influences on the team. No matter what, those who share his views must be removed from the team. Whatever theoretical short-term benefit might seem to occur from their presence in the squad is dwarfed by their detrimental effect on discipline and authority. Those are the words from Vern Jacobs, a legendary member of this community. Some time ago, I spoke to you about a year ago. I've been saying it for about a year now. That is a player power that is engulfing West Indies cricket team. And here it is laid bare by Hetmeyer. He clearly said the coaches are trying to change it, but we are not in that. It is embedded. And I ask every one of you to look up the meaning of the word embedded. Look it up. And Hetmeyer is saying that this culture of a relaxed mindset, which the coaches are trying to change, is embedded in us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. As usual, remember to slash a like on the video and click on that subscribe button. Today, we have joining us is Mr. Stanford Davis. He's a principal of Mayday High School. And today, he will be looking at the West Indies non-performance in that third ODI. He will also be looking at Hetmeyer's comment. He will be looking at the T20 squad that has been selected and Desmond Haynes' press conference in reacting to that T20 squad. Welcome to the show, Mr. Davis. But before Mr. Davis should say his first word and I shut up, today I'm in a very buoyant mood. Not only because Jamaica has won both Rising Star under 19 championship, both the 50 over championship and the 3-day championship. And in fact, Mr. Stanford Davis, who bears the name of my grandfather name was Stanford Wright. So he bears the first name of my grandfather, is the principal of Mayday High School, and both Ryan Edwards and Mead, I do not remember Mead's first name, but he will tell us.
Nashane.
Those pace bowlers are students of his school. And it's very fitting that the very last delivery, bowled by Ryan Edwards, it was Mead who took the catch. But not only that, but the entire Caribbean is this morning happy that Jamaica held Brazil to a 0-0 draw in the Women's World Cup and becomes the first Caribbean team to qualify for the second round of a major FIFA World Cup tournament. Congratulations to the Jamaican women. I have said I don't watch the team play, and I continue not to watch the team play, but I follow them closely. And this morning, I am very proud of them. Congratulations, and I know the entire Caribbean is proud of them. Mr. Davis, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Good morning to you and to your listeners. Even though we're speaking about cricket today, I want to start with football. Congratulations to the Reggae Girls. I almost wanted to tie that into what Hetmeyer said, as it relates to the relaxed mindset, because certainly Jamaicans are not like that. We are aggressive people. And if you notice, the Reggae Girls, that came out in their play, and their defense was so good. So congratulations to the team and to the coach, the entire staff. And they're coming out of nothing as it relates to funds. It kind of feel like my school as it relates to cricket and funds. But again, congratulations. Of course, to the under-19, they have it as men on the website, the under-19 boys cricket Jamaica, the 50 over competition, and of course the 3 days competition. Jamaica emerged as champions in both. And this is a significant feat. And I want to, while I big up the Jamaica Cricket Association, I want to big up ISA, because if you look at the players, they were nurtured in the schools, in the ISA competition. So those coaches who coach the children in the schools must be commended. And of course, I want to commend my two boys who made the team and played in almost all the matches and made significant contribution to the team. And it only shows you that irrespective of where you're from, you can make a difference. And I'm so proud of them and proud of the team itself and what has come out of Issa. As it relates to the comment by Hetmeyer, I listened to the interview initially, and I didn't listen much because when he started and what he was saying. But Hetmeyer is a young man. He's just in his 20s, and he has that already in him. And his performance in the 3 days and the way he got out is a show that he really is a relaxed mindset. And there's nothing wrong with a relaxed mindset. Sometimes it helps you to perform under pressure, but at the same time, you need to have a little anxiety and, want to perform well. But as it relates to the West Indies team right now, I would ask them to focus and to spend some money on the youth. What happened to these guys in the under 19, not just Jamaica, but all the teams after this? What competition are they going to play in order for them to continue to do well? We had performances all across the islands. What will happen to these boys? Who will be responsible for nurturing these boys? The present West Indies team, they can go and enjoy themselves because, we don't really want to flog a dead horse. So I'm not going to really focus on them. I'll enjoy when they do well and they continue to be like Pakistan. They do very well sometimes and then they go down. But it's getting worse now. That second match that they won, could have seen it clearly. That is a day that India played badly and we bowled where we fielded well. But by the next match, when the pressure reaches us, it's a pressure that reaches us because we should not have won the toss and give it to India. We're in a different setting. We were on different field. First time one day international being played there. And I think we should bat and set the record. At least one good thing happens when you bat first. Even if you play 100, the next team can play 350 because they would have won the match before that. So if you're afraid, you should at least take that into consideration. But the performance in that match was really embarrassing. But they have this thing about scoreboard pressure. When you see 350 on the board that you go to bat, it's different than when you go out and you're going to set a total for the next team because you're.
We didn't get that, Mr. Davis. You are breaking up there. So we seem to have lost Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis. But to me, these players, at least some of these players, have thrown Darren Sammy under the bus, as they have done with other coaches in the past. And they will continue to throw coaches under the bus if these coaches do not win the war and change, and there's a cultural shift from the culture. Are you back with us, Mr. Davis?
You tell me. I've been hearing you. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yes, no, you're back with us. So please continue, sir. You had
What was the last thing you heard?
Thank you for.
What was the last thing you heard?
You were talking about the West Indies, this team. You are not going to really too concerned about this team, and you were talking about the Hetmeyer statement.
Okay, yeah. So I was saying that the statement from Hetmeyer, he's a young man, and if he got that so early, but I don't think it speaks to our Jamaican scenario because our Jamaicans are very aggressive, and anything they do their best. I was saying that the focus should now be on our young people. We just had an under-19 competition in cricket. What will happen to these boys now? Where do they go from there? Are we going to have an under-23 competition in the Caribbean? Something to keep them going? What happens to them? Who's going to be responsible for ensuring that they are developed in the sport?
Mr. Davis seemed to go on there. JP Nicol, I take your comment, JP Nicol. Hetmeyer is telling the truth. What truth, JP Nicol? What truth? Yes, he's telling the truth that these players, they are not willing to put in 100% effort for the West Indies. Mr. Davis, if you are hearing me, please tell me, because we are not hearing you right now. So The question that I want to ask Edmire, as soon as you're back, Mr. Davis, please acknowledge. The question that I want to ask Edmire, is this the same culture that he takes to the Rajasthan Royal? There's a divide. John P. Nichols saying that there's a divide and rule management style at CWI that will never be successful. I do not agree with that, John P. Nichols. I just think that the players want to rule West Indies cricket, and West Indies, the cricket West Indies, should never allow that to happen. This is a war. Everyone who loves West Indies cricket must hope and must back that cricket West Indies, the coaches, that they win this war. If the players win this war, then it will signal the end of West Indies cricket. To me, some of these players, it doesn't seem that they care about the future of West Indies cricket, and all their concern is about satisfying their ego and using West Indies to achieve and to promote their own self-interest. Are you back with us, Mr. Davis?
I'm not sure. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now,
Yeah, I
sir.
think I have some internet issues. So I was at the point where I was saying that what Hetmai is saying might be a feeling that he has, but I'm saying that it doesn't apply to Jamaicans. Because when it comes to anything, we are a very aggressive nation, and we put our best in whatever we do, whether it's good or bad. And we don't need to be a rocket scientist to see how Jamaicans perform at whatever they do. But as a Caribbean people, we have to ensure that the pride that we once had as a people, that has to come back. We have to inculcate that into our young people to understand that money is not all. Money will come. Once you play cricket and you do well, you will get money. But when you put on, as Desmond Haynes said, that West Indian jersey, it must be a different feeling. If you watch around the world, when people play for their clubs and so forth and do their best, when you're playing for your country, it's a different kind of feeling. I heard the coach of the Jamaica football team, when they asked him this, when he said something, it's the greatest feeling he has ever had in his life. That's a big man. And he reached this age and he's saying that the girls have not won World Cup, they have gone on to the next one for the first time. And he said that is the greatest feeling he has ever had in his life. That is talking about just one little nation, what you can do. You saw people crying, the passion that they have. And I believe that the passion for West Indies, because there are so many other opportunities and people can make money and feel that, we are all that and more, it affects how our people react and respond. You understand me? I remember years ago when we lost to South Africa and Rich Richardson was the captain. And he said it was just another match. And Michael Holding said he must be crazy, just another match? You're talking about South Africa, who said West Indies won because they were not a part of it. This is, so we have to understand. And I think that one of the things we have to teach our young people, though, is the history of cricket and the West Indies and the pride and how important it is as a force that binds us together. I think they need to understand it's not just playing cricket. When you're playing for the West Indies, it is something, it's a privilege that you have to represent your nation. It's just 11 when you're on the field representing the whole Caribbean. You're carrying the weight of the Caribbean on your shoulders, and you must do so with pride and dignity. So whenever you win with pride, and when you lose with dignity. You don't go down and take it as like nothing. You understand? So that's my concern as it relates to the squad, the T20. Of course, if you were to ask every person on this program for their team, you'll probably get a different team from everybody. Being a selector is easier on the sideline. But when you come to being the actual selector, you know that whatever team you select, there are persons who are not going to agree with it. But I like the interview, the press conference that was done by Mr. Haynes or Dr. Haynes. I support what he's saying. And he mentioned something about pace. When they talk about pace bowlers, and he spoke about the pitches that somebody asked him a question about the pitches that were prepared. My God, man, you're preparing a pitch in the Caribbean, India, the spinning champion of the world coming, and you prepare a pitch that is tailor-made for spin. That is something that I cannot understand. Is it that the groundsmen don't understand how to do it? And I'm not saying that you're giving person unfair advantage, but you're a home team, right? So some things must be there. If you go to India, they're going to get a pitch that suit their bowlers. But we want, at least Dr. Haynes says that, give us a little bounce, you know? Give us a little bounce. Don't give us one like what we had down at Downs the other day for a test match cricket. We need to have a pitch that is suitable, standard, that will take both pace and spin. But you have to put something to give your team a little advantage. So I am concerned about in terms of the pitches that we prepare, and we now have to look at the development of cricket. I also probably later will speak about T20 versus 50 over versus test match, but that's a different story. But that's what I have to say for now. I'd rather take questions.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, sir.
When he was asked about why Gudakesh Moti was not in the team, he dodged the question.
Yeah, he said Moti was playing well and all of that, but he wanted some pace, because I guess the setup that they were having, the leg spin was not one of the things that he considered. Well, Moti is really, I'm not sure how exactly he answered it, but I know he mentioned.
Do you think that he was honest in his answer? And do you think that he insults the intelligence of his audience? Because he was asked a direct question about Moti, but then he goes on to talk about Obed McCoy.
I don't think he was being dishonest or anything. I think he was answering to the best that he could at the time. I think what he was trying to say is the balance that they are looking for at this time does not include Moti. That's basically what he was saying.
Okay.
And you see how well Moti is playing in the match.
Okay. He spoke about O'Shane Thomas being the X factor, and that's the reason why he's in the squad. And he's hoping that by the time that West Indies comes around to Australia, that we'll have 6 or 7 fast bowlers. He made a very good point by saying all the bowlers are same. But if all the bowlers are same, and you want 6 to 7 fast bowler by Australia comes around, that in itself will be a miracle. But why do you continue to pick medium pacers like Jason Holder if that's what you're looking for? Why don't give somebody like McKinley Clark, who has some pace, who has some genuine pace, a go at it?
Okay, I'm not sure I can answer the part about McKinley Clark. What I can say is that he wants to have a gradual shift, to have he's looking up for pace who can make a difference. What he said, he said you can't teach pace. That's what I heard him say. So when you find somebody with genuine pace, you have to nurture that person so you can have them as a factor that the other team will know that here you have somebody who can shake you up, because no batsman in the world loves genuine pace. So what he's advocating for, and I think he's looking at his history when they used to play, so that comes back into fore. He said they want to speak about the past, but the fact is that he takes that into consideration, that you want to have some genuine pace. And he sees O'Shane as somebody who has natural, genuine pace when he started. We see what happened to Roach. Roach was bowling over 150 when he started, and now he can't even drive at that. So the problem that we have is that you need to find a way, when you get genuine pace bowlers, to nurture them and to get them to be in your team and to really nurture them. That's important when you find a good pace bowler, because injuries will come, they will have challenges. So that's what I would say about it.
Okay, so it's said that he knows about he knows the feelings of the Caribbean people. Do you think this was a genuine statement on the part of Haynes? He said he understands the feelings of the Caribbean people.
Well, let's look at the history. Desmond Haynes was a prolific opening batsman with Gordon Greenwich when West Indies was doing very well. He went all around the Caribbean. He went around the world playing for West Indies. He knows about the pride and the dignity that we had then, right? And he certainly understands. But it's easy to speak from the outside. But when you go in and have all of this thing, you can't make all of this change in one day, right? So I think that, as I say, you have to try some things. The culture of the people, young people, are different. To hear what Hetmeyer said, so you can see what he's up against in terms of getting a good team together. So he has to try different combinations, see how it works, until they settle down. He has not been in job a very long time, but I think he genuinely and what he spoke, he was genuine about what he said. That's what I think.
So how then, Mr. Davis, do you explain his rationale for picking Chase ahead of Sinclair? He said that Chase played a role in South Africa. He was very specific. No mumbo jumbo. He said Chase played a role in South Africa. In the 3 T20 matches that West Indies played in South Africa, Chase played in 2 of them. He made 10 runs. He bowled in 1 of them. He bowled his 4 overs for 43 runs. What exactly was the value of the role that Chase played in South Africa for him to say that Chase is ahead of Sinclair and that Chase played the role that the team wanted?
All right. If you remember what I said in the last time I came on, I didn't speak much of Chase because I don't think he should be there. But when he said the role that he played, I don't know if he meant that not only on the field but in the dressing room. I am not sure if there's some role that he played that brought the players together or what. I don't know. All right. But as it relates to on the field and the role that he played, sometimes in cricket as a selector, you have a gut feeling about somebody and you feel that they deserve another chance and you're in the position to give them the chance, then I can't blame you for doing that. I certainly would not include Chase. I'm going for the young people. I don't mind losing with the young people. You understand me? Because what you find is that when you bring back some of the older players into the team, you might think they're going to add value, but generally it does not happen that way. You know? So I wouldn't have brought him in, but I am not going to bash him because he must have his reason. But I certainly would not have brought Chase back in the team.
So Mr. Davis, if you are seeing on the screen there, Bobby Buns, he said that my question to people siding with the bad behavior of these West Indies players. If West Indies didn't invest in them, how else would any of these franchise teams know about them? They must pay their dues. What do you think about that comment?
All right, that's a fair comment, and the investment that West Indies do, though, I mentioned the whole issue of ISA in Jamaica. I don't know about the other Caribbean countries, but I still think the investment that West Indies is supposed to do, they are not doing it, and probably that's why we end up like this. But certainly they need to pay their dues. But I think West Indies need to invest more in our young people.
Okay. Here is John P. Nicol, and you know John P. Nicol is always your nemesis, and he's also my nemesis. But you see, he's agreeing with Clive, and I know you know Clive. You know Clive Samuels. I think you know him, and he's saying that we know the truth, but we are not going to agree with it. The truth that he's speaking about is that Cricket West Indies is trying to divide and rule the players. Do you think Cricket West Indies is doing that, Mr. John P. Nicol? Because I know nothing about that. Because we must stop, John P. Nicol. In all honesty, we need to stop supporting these players who are not showing the right attitude. We must stop support these players who wants to rule West Indies cricket. We must back the administration and the coaches at this time, John P. Nicol. Mr. Davis, what's your comment on that, sir?
I support what you say, Mr. Brown. I support what you say. As a principal and a person in nature cricket, I know that you have to be very careful with the players. They'll want to have things their own way. And sometimes their way is not the right way. So I do agree with what you're saying.
Okay, so Karis is saying Edmire is speaking as if he's above it all. And he's saying he isn't. He's grossly unfit and refused to dedicate himself to the long version cricket. He wants to be merely a finisher, which means batting 5 and 6 overs. Do you see Edmire in that light, Mr. Davis?
I'm kind of disappointed with Edmire because when he was captain of that under-19 team, they did so well, and we were expecting great things from them. I think he joined the mold of other persons who are just in it for money, and I think that's where the challenge is. He's not willing to put in the work to be fit for 5-day match. As a matter of fact, he's not even fit for T20 in terms of it. And he really wants to be a finisher, just go and hit and people speak about him and so forth. But I don't think he has been putting in the work. He has the ability though. Right? And
Okay.
yes.
Ricardo King, I want to say that it's not a matter of criticizing Desmond Haynes. It's a matter of we have standards and we want those standards to be met.
Question,
And
Mr.
just
Brown.
like, yes, Mr.
The
Davis?
person is mentioning you because I don't remember attacking Mr. Haynes.
Oh, no, it's a general statement. It's a,
Okay.
is Desmond Haynes the only selector? Why are you attacking one man? You know, so that was his comment. And so I'm saying to him that Desmond Haynes is the face of the selection panel. That's why we talk to him. But we are not attacking him. It's just that we have standards that we want to see upheld. And we will continue to push for those standards to be upheld. It's as simple as that. So Mr. Supernova is saying that Chase played well in India but didn't do much in South Africa. Given how much trouble Moti was given the Indian batsman, then clearly Moti should be selected. Variety is nothing when someone is firing. Do you see the statement on the screen, Mr. Davis? Are you able to see the screen and see? Or would you like me to reread it? Mr. Davis? So it seems like
yes, I'm reading it now, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. So it's a given how much trouble Moti was giving the Indian batsman, then clearly Moti should be selected. Well, as I said, I would not have selected Chase. I don't know who's going to play in the final 11, but I certainly would not have selected Chase. He's seen as an all-rounder. He is supposed to bat well and bowl well, but I was never impressed by his bowling at all. So that's my position on it. So I much prefer to see Moti in terms of bowling. Yeah. He probably can bat better than Moti, but Moti was showing a little thing yesterday.
Okay. As a principal, I know that you'll never allow this to happen at your school. Caris87 is saying that West Indies have allowed the inmates to run the asylum. Can't do that.
Well, I'm not in charge of an asylum, so
no, but
I know what is. I understand exactly what he's saying, but I want to make that clear because I don't think it would matter who runs the asylum. It's pyramid people anyway. But no, it's a case that we would say in Jamaica, the tail wagging the dog, and yes. That's really a challenge that we have. But when I look at the pool of players that we have, probably that's part of the challenge, and that's why I'm so concerned now that with all these young men just finishing under 19, you're talking about probably 60, 70 of them. What will happen to them? Because if we can increase the numbers, then the kind of using Jamaican term boastiness that we see will certainly be reduced if we can have more persons available.
So, Mr. Davis, I think that this is a war that the coaches has to win. If the players are allowed to get their own way, because Mr. Davis, I have said it before, because these players, you would plan a training session for 10 o'clock, but yet still at 9:30, none of them is ready to go on the bus. Coaches have to go into their hotel room and getting them to get up to go to the training session.
Mr. Brown, because I have to run, I have to leave now, but I just want to say a few things as you mentioned that. We were having a discussion over the weekend, the same Sunday we were down, and this gentleman, Mr. Nelson, said that in their time playing for the parish and they have a match, they would have to go from 5 o'clock to roll the pitch and get everything ready for themselves. And having gotten their pitch ready, of course, they have to perform well on it. So they go from 5 o'clock, prepare pitch and turn around and play. These young men have everything on their own. And that is why one of the things I did at Mayday is that for the first round, the boys were responsible for doing everything. They have to roll the pitch. They have to mark the boundaries. Our boundaries are kind of unique. We don't have the rope and the string. So we get some of the plastic bottles. We put water or sand in there and we put them in the white lime. And they have to do all of that. And that responsibility makes a difference. You can't be late. And some of them have been late and they end up, because my coach don't joke when it comes to those things. So yes, the discipline has to be inculcated in them though from early. And you have to take some very, very decisive steps when it comes to the young people. And if you don't benefit from it young, you know what will happen when it's old. I could take one more question and go if there's any question, but I have to go.
Okay. Just going there. John P. Nicol is saying, Carlton, what was Jason Ola comments when CWI fired the winning coach? I don't remember at that time. There are just some general comments here, Mr. Davis. We need to identify there are just some general comments,
Okay.
Mr. Davis. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being here. But before you go, Mr. Davis, I'm going to ask you to respond to this comment here from the Indian captain. So after
you mean Hardik Patel?
Hardik Pandey, he made a
Pandey,
comment.
yeah, I saw it. I saw something about the treatment.
Yes. What is your view?
Well, you mean apart from embarrassment?
No, the comments that Pandey, yes. Do you think that it's, because my thing, when I look at it, there were no details there. There were no details. He just said necessities. So was he being mischievous? Yeah, was he being mischievous? Because I checked this morning, because the only thing that was specific there is that the flight that was delayed for 4 hours. And I've experienced delayed flight in America already, the big America. But I checked this morning, and India Premier Airline, I don't want to call their name, have 15 delayed flights today.
Okay.
And I know that
he said the basic necessities. I'm wondering, like traveling. He said the basic necessities like traveling. So is it the delay flight, or is it what happens on the flight, the comfort, the kind of I don't know what it is that he said. He said they don't ask for much.
Yes, so that's why I'm saying that.
They don't ask so much. He said that, they don't ask so much, but just the basic. But
I acknowledge you, Juna.
What is basic in one place might be excessive in another. India is a country that has rich people, but it has some of the poorest persons too, and some of them are from some areas. If you were to go and look, you would be surprised. So I guess because they're used to the IPL and certain kind of things, they probably expect the same thing when they come here. I really don't know what exactly he's saying, so I can't really comment except to say that of course we'd expect persons to have the basic things when they go out. The flights are not controlled by the cricket board, and of course we don't have any control over that at all. And the weather, so many things can happen when it comes to flight. And the most important thing in a flight is safety. And you'd rather be late than something happen when you have to take precaution. That's what I would say.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis. I know you're a very busy man. I know you have a packed schedule. I appreciate you being here, sir, and I look forward to you being here again in the future.
All right. Thank you very much, and all the best to your listeners. We will speak at another time. Bless you. Take care.
Yeah, okay. Juna Codlin, I want to welcome Juna Codlin at this time to the set. How are you doing, Juna? Welcome. But I just want to look at that comment made by Pandey. He said, things can be better when we come to the West Indies next time. From traveling to managing a lot of things. Last year also, some hiccups happened. I think it is time for West Indies cricket to take note of it and make sure that when a team travel, we don't ask for luxury, but we need some basic necessities. I do not know what Pandya is talking about. As I said, I checked this morning, and one of India's premier airlines have 15 delayed flights for today alone. So if he was talking about the 4-hour delay in Trinidad when they were going to Barbados overnight, that is out of the control of Cricket West Indies. If there's something more serious and really is not giving trouble, he needs to say that. Before I come to you, Juna, I just want to make one final comment on the Edmire situation. And this comes again from Vern Jacobs. And Vern Jacobs put it quite bluntly. And I agree with this. And I'm sure every one of us in the Caribbean agree with this. Laziness and lack of focus are not Caribbean culture. It is certainly not our culture. Those are character flaws. and not attributes. The coaches are trying to win consistently, but Edmire and company feels that their way is better and will someday lead to success, although it never has. Those are the comments. Welcome to the show, Juna. Good for you to be here. How are you, sir?
Not bad, and I'm grateful to be back on the Cricket Forum again. Certainly a fantastic show. And just to touch on a few things that you have said earlier regarding the Indian standing captain comments yesterday. We had a e-cup last year with the traveling visa where the president of Guyana, Dr. Ali, had to intervene, and we had some delay in the flights to Barbados a few days ago. I don't know what happened deeper than those two things. Maybe something else is happening, but it's to the detriment of West Indies cricket if it is not being addressed. And it's on going to leave to speculations now. What West Indies have not done consistently and have not done well is have a PR management, because the media officer should be made available to us, the media, so they can really explain these things when we ask of them. So it's really now it's a thing that is up in the air where people is wondering, and it's going to leave for us to draw conclusions, and those assumptions and conclusions may not be the right thing. As for the Maya issue, it was the coaching staff, the constant requests of the head coach Darren Sammy that have gotten back Edmire within the team. So to suggest that Edmire and the coaching staff have differences, it is really not warrant of me that is in the know of many things to suggest such a thing. But I think he was more and less rushed, and it is right for him to speak the way he speak, because it's best for him to make it known, and once he make it known, then they can work it out together and get him on page with what they are trying to do. But I don't believe it's nothing more than a misunderstanding, and he's not in the team long enough to understand the new culture and what is required for us to be an elite team. And very soon it will be made known to him, and I think he will agree to it. He is a welcome addition to the struggling West Indies team, and I'm happy that good sense has prevailed. And before we know it, Edmire will get back to scoring runs. It's just that he played a lot of T20s and he has not yet gotten used to the ODI games again, because he and Shai Ho have the better record for West Indies batsmen over the last 10 years in the West Indies team, despite of him barely playing 5 ODIs over the last 5 years. So he has remained the second better batter in ODI cricket for the West Indies. So that is something to write home about, despite a poor run and the others that have gotten a consistent run. They have not overtaken Edmire and his accomplishment in the ODI game. And the reason why he has not been able to score runs in this series is because he just walked back in. He had needed the UAE and the World Cup qualifiers. If he had played those, if the selectors would have not made a mistake, and if they would have brought him to the UAE, then to Zimbabwe, he would have been well sharpened up for this India series. And I believe the West Indies would have won it off his batting because he's a superb player and he's a welcome addition to the West Indies ODI team.
No, I must make it clear. I must make it clear that no one is attacking Edmire. And if you have listened to previous videos that I have done, I applaud his reintroduction to the team. And so no one is attacking Edmire. No one has anything against Edmire. But these comments came from him. We have a relaxed mindset. The coaches are and people, he just didn't say only the coaches, he said the coaches and people are trying to change it. But it is embedded. It is embedded in us. So those comments came from him. And so is the comments we are discussing. No one is attacking Edmire the individual, but we are discussing the comments that came from him, which he said that we have a relaxed culture and mindset. But there it is that Mr. Davis, you heard Mr. Davis said it, that we are aggressive people. So it is not reflecting who we know we are. So we are not attacking Edmire. No way. What's your comment, sir? Yes. And we think that he will be good for the team. Now, Clive Smith is saying that in 2003, playing for pride, colors, and history, he can take that to the supermarket. I agree with you, Clive Smith, but it's different issues we are commenting on here. Do you have anything further to add, Junior? Do you have anything further to add?
Absolutely. When you look once again on the captaincy of Shea Hope, it is left to be desired for something. And if you could read into his comment yesterday, he said, however long his tenure lasts. So once again, the door is left open for a new man to walk into the job, because all of a sudden now he's getting frustrated and getting, you know, one of the things that I have noted from Shea Hope is that he has gotten the captaincy and it has not affected his batting to a great deal. But it's just that he's not tactical enough. He's not competent to give out instruction and get the team to rally around him in such a way that they will perform above par. And if you would look and see in 2010 when Darren Sammy came on, he had a similar problem like that, but he persisted and he got the big players and the team rallying around him, and the West Indies was starting really to perform a lot better than they were performing. Under Darren Sammy, they had a favorable ranking of number 6 at one time during his captaincy of the West Indies ODI and T20 team. And if you know the two big accomplishments of winning the 2 T20 World Cups. So I'm saying that Shea Hope is saying some things that make us pundit is reading into it, saying that he's not ready to give up because result has not gone his way. But if he is a true leader, then he will lead the team out of the degradation that they are in. And I think it was a big mistake of returning Kyle Mills to the opening position. I think Shea Hope is best suited for the opening position and then let everybody bat around him. But he get up into a mindset, Carlton, with the strike rate too low, strike rate this, strike rate that. I've seen the West Indies after Afghanistan came to the Caribbean and beat us up badly under the captaincy of Karrion Pollard and the new reappointment of Phil Simmons at the time. We went to India in lockdown and blank Afghanistan 3-0 in the ODIs, and they push out a lot of spinners upon us, and we were able to counteract those spinners. We lost the T20s 2-1, but we mashed them up in ODI cricket. And I've seen we have gone to India after that and win ODIs against India in India. You know, so the West Indies can do it. but it's the personnels that are there, the mindset of our players. And they are not relaxed, they are not comfortable, they don't have the license like Brandon McCullum gave his English boys to go out and play with freedom. I don't think Darren Sammy has yet put in that confidence in our players.
Okay, thank you for those comments, June. And Norman Ferguson. It is simple. Edmire is not bigger than cricket. I agree with that part, Norman Ferguson. He's not bigger than cricket. He's just passing through a revolving doors. And in a few years' time, we will not be talking about him. We'll be talking about the new players. The man should not be in the West Indies setup. I believe he should be there, Norman Ferguson. I believe he should. His comments is not true. I believe this again. His comments are not true. So Norman Ferguson, in one comment, I agree with two parts of it, but I don't agree with one part. So sometimes when I say I don't necessarily agree with everything that someone said, it is on occasions like these. The first part, I agree. The second part, I agree, but the middle part, I don't agree. Mr. Casanova is saying that this generation of players are just soft and all they do is to love party. Clive Smith, administration, coaches, and players should have a mutual respect for each other. Agree with you 100% there, 100%. Coaches, however, should stop with the negative comments and coach winning. Okay, I do not quite understand the second part, but I can tell you that I agree with the first part. It's saying that never heard so much nonsense of professionals. Is professional you're talking like Edmire is a 19-year-old, is a 19 very year old. So you're saying that Edmire is not talking like a professional. Now I have heard, I don't know if you have heard this, Juno, but I've heard that there are players in the team who they and Hope are not seeing eye to eye. And this could be contributing to the shift in attitude. Now, when I heard that, I remember two persons. I remember Manchester United, and I remember Roy Keane, and I think, what's the goalkeeper name? Peter Schmeichel, the Denmark big goalkeeper who used to play for Manchester United. Those of you who remember that era of Manchester United dominance, it is said that there's hardly a week goes by where those two doesn't have a quarrel or a fight. And up to this day, they do not pass each other on the road. They do not look at each other. Up to this day, of the football teams, they are sworn enemy. But on that field, they are representing Manchester United. If these rumors are true, that players are not seen eye to eye with the captain and with the coach and are literally throwing them under the bus, do you think that is professional? That's a professional approach? And secondly, do you think that the captain and the coach should identify these persons and cut them off from West Indies cricket? Go ahead,
the manager has a lot of work to do. While I can't speak directly to the now existing culture within the West Indies team, it will be erratic of me really to do so without being brief with all of the informations. But I don't subscribe to those arguments because it has not shown. We have seen behind the scene footage and we have seen footage otherwise, and there's nothing to that effect. But if there's such a thing, and if that person believe that such things exist within our team, then the manager should seek to stamp it out, but first to make it known to the public. So when we don't see certain people, then we don't go about asking questions and making up a lot of noise, because we would have already knew that what they are doing is more or less defeating our team. Let me tell you, a player can behave and be bullish, but behave and be bullish when you're scoring runs and taking wickets. You can't not be contributing and want to have the biggest stock within the team. And players have to respect leadership. If Shai Hope is the captain, then rally around the captain, because West Indies cricket is the greater good.
Okay, on a day when Jamaica made the entire Caribbean proud, and I'm sure my fellow Caribbean brothers and sisters are happy with the performance of the Reggae Girls this morning against Brazil, as we qualified for the second round of the Football Women World Cup. Again, I would like to congratulate the Jamaica team. I do not watch them, but I followed them, and I'm very proud of those girls this morning. Thank you all for being here. It was good. Thank you for Juna. Thank you to Juna. And I would like to thank Mr. Stanford Davis for coming on. And I leave you with this comment from Vern Jacobs, because none of us will disagree with this comment. Laziness and lack of focus are not Caribbean culture. Those are character flaws and not attributes. Have a great day, everyone. One love. God bless.